Wake up! Stay tuned for the man that did not break for Grant Cardone, the man that told Grant Cardone no, not once, but several different times. You want to hear a little bit more about that story? Stay tuned. Rory himself. Are here with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Rory from Cornerstone Roofing.
We were not ready for that, were we, Rory?
I had to do a little wake up, make sure the room is ready for this. But truly one of my favorite humans in this community, the guy that does so much for so many and never sits around to take credit for it. But you know, we want to talk a little about behind the scenes, so many things that you guys don't have a clue what really happened. I think you saw maybe 3 or 5 minutes of Rory, but
not even that much. But you know, the behind the scenes of Undercover Billionaire, why we came to you, what that looked like, because obviously we filmed for days and they show this like 10 seconds on really what happened. So, you know, I guess tell us a little bit about the beginning, Rory, and why we're sitting here today.
Yeah, so you know, I've known Matt and Jenny for years and years. I actually, I've been doing business with Jenny for, I don't know,
a decade,
smoked, or longer, 13, 14 years. A lot of the pictures that you see on my advertisements or billboards, Jenny and I went out and did that together one afternoon. So, you know, that was 13, 14 years ago. So. And I looked a lot better, Ben.
Honey, you have not skipped a beat. You look the same.
So, you know, it was always fun. So we've been doing advertisement. We've had our business relationship and a personal relationship, you know, and
long time, absolutely.
You know, then of course I'm a gym rat, so you know I love the gym. I love physical exercise. You know, I'm always in a gym, and so, you know, Snap built this like fantastic facility, and where else would I go in Pueblo West, right?
Well, we appreciate that for sure. Yeah, so in a little bit, we want to get into like what Grant Cardone or Lewis Curtis asked you to do that you were like, absolutely not. But before we get into that, just tell us a little about what is Cornerstone. Tell us about your roofing business.
Cornerstone Roofing, we've been in business. Look, I've been doing this since I was 8 years old. It's all I've ever really done. You know, I worked for family for the majority of my life. However, you know, that majority is like coming back at me now. So it seems like it's switched, and probably I've been in business for myself probably longer than I worked for somebody at this point. So, you know, we love what we do. You know, we want to be your roofing company. You know, we want to be Pueblo's roofing company.
And I would say you are. I mean, you are the dominant roofer here in Southern Colorado. Like, you know what? You know why I would pick you in a heartbeat? Because I love your slogan. What's your slogan?
Integrity is the cornerstone of our business.
And that is so true. Like, anything that you do and you stand behind, I love that.
And we do. We try to stand behind everything we do. You know, you know, we look. If I wouldn't put it on my house, I'm not going to put it on yours. So.
Love that.
You know, that's not what we do.
And a big thing that I love about Rory is, you know, he's highly involved in the community and he gives back, and that is so important.
Well, so you know, I had a flowery past. You know, we spoke on that briefly. You know, when Grant Cardone or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Lewis Curtis.
Lewis Curtis. You know, was here. You know, and I. You know, I struggled a lot, you know, with drugs and alcoholism when I was younger, and you know, I feel as though my community has given me a second chance. So, you know, the community that would give me a second chance has, you know, all my respect. Yeah. You know, people come and ask me, Rory, I need a sponsorship for, you know, my softball team. I'm like, what's it going to cost? You know, what do you need? CASA comes, you know, we're going over the edge, you know, we need your help. What do you need? You know,
We did go over the edge together once.
We did.
In tutus. In tutus, baby. We went over the edge for sure. So let's go to the show for a second, because you know, we could brag about Rory for hours and hours and hours, but truly not just the best roofer in Southern Colorado, but one of the best humans I've ever met in my entire life. So
I call him. I'm actually going to go see Rory
we bring this
for
crazy crew
billboards, because I was with Lamar Advertising at the time, and I was like, oh, by the way, we're doing a Pueblo documentary, and I'd hate for you not to be seen on it, but we're starting a marketing company too, so we've got a bunch of new things coming in. Would you sit down with me and a camera crew for like 10 minutes?
Jenny, I don't even think it was that much. It was like, hey, Rory, can I come to talk to you about billboards? And I'm bringing a camera crew. I'm like, okay. I'm thinking, yeah. Sure. So I pull up at my office, and there's camera people everywhere. I'm like,
Discovery Channel rolls.
Like 10 minivans
I'm like walking
of
around
cameras.
going, what, you know, that's not a camera crew. It's like a production crew. So,
and what was your first impression of Lewis Curtis when he came into here?
You know, I thought he was kind of flashy. I was like, you know, who's this guy, you know? Yeah. It's like, wow, you know, a little flashy, you know? Yeah. You know, I guess it probably, you know, between me and you know, the kind of people that I'm drawn towards, you know, and you know, like, you know, have
mutual respect.
Yeah, mutual respect for. He would probably not be one of my top picks.
Okay. Fair enough.
But I think he thought that way about you, because I'd be like, he was like, hey, we're kind of the same age. And I remember him doing this, man, you looking good. I remember that part. I'm like, Grant secretly loves Rory right now.
For sure. Yeah. And you guys had that common background. I think you guys talked about that for
a
little bit of the time.
Yeah,
where you guys both,
maybe we did.
He was a recovering drug.
You know, I think we did. We
so.
did talk about that. We touched on that a little bit.
And the show highlighted it for a split second.
And I had forgotten about that till I watched an episode of that and watched him kind of break down on that, you know, and I thought, I didn't realize that, you know, those roots went that far with him. So, you know, I knew they had gone that far with me. So it was probably, we were probably reserved at that point, you know, because we're on camera and nobody's wanting, you know, a mental breakdown and, you know.
So did the cameras help you say yes? I mean, you know, going into your office, we're sitting down.
Yeah. Of course it did. You know, it's, you know, so all my buddies are like, hey, Rory, you really just wrote a check. And I'm like, no, I didn't just write a check.
Yeah, there was a lot more to it.
It was like, there was way more tete-a-tete. There was like way more rebuttal.
We were talking for a long time.
An hour conversation at least.
Hours.
Yeah, we didn't just like sit down and write a check.
And we have that in common, because I'm in the same boat. Like, I was in the first episode, I wrote Grant a $10,000 check, and everybody in Pueblo was like, hey, can I get a $10,000 check? Hey, can I get a $10,000? I was like, there was so much more to that story.
Well,
that you guys have no idea.
I was calling Ryan going, hey, bro, can I crash in a trailer?
Exactly. Ryan Zabukovic for sure. Absolutely.
Because I have a relationship with Ryan.
Oh, great guy.
You know, for years and years and years, and there is no way in the world. And Ryan knows me and knows I'm good for it. And you know, would he give me a place to stay at?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know about that either.
So you're saying the cameras
another good
helped.
Human though.
Oh, way
much.
And Ryan called me just to go backwards. Ryan called me one day and he goes, hey, you know, there's this guy doing a documentary about Pueblo, and I think that I'm letting him stay in one of my trailers. And I was like,
okay,
who is this?
Yeah.
He goes, no, you need to come meet him. I'm like, all right, I'll come meet him. And we rolled out there, and he wasn't there. He's probably in your shop getting kicked out. So
it could have been. Yeah, it could have been.
So you actually went to go see him too?
I did, and he wasn't there. So
the
next time that anything was to do with him was when you brought him. So.
Okay, so we had the meeting, you know, we did all that, and then we came back and we started filming you, and we started doing all this stuff, and he was having, you're like, dude, I don't know who this guy is, but he's a little much. And then the grand opening, you figured out who he was. What did you think then? Did it make sense?
Well, I still didn't know who he was. I mean, to me, so here, just people who they are when I meet them is who they are. Mm-hmm. You know, I didn't know who he was. I had already formed this opinion, you know. Mm-hmm. And even after I knew who he was, I still had the same opinion, weirdly enough. I just, you know, just so we were filming, and he was saying, you know, it was just adamant. Say this, and I was like, and I'm looking at him going, I can't say that.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the truth. It's like he's just like, say it, say this, and I was like, you know, and I'm like looking at him, I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
I can't say that. It's not the truth, and I don't know what the liability is from saying something so incorrect as that would be, but I'm not willing to do that. And he goes,
don't let the truth get
why
in the way
would
of,
you let the truth get in the way of a good story?
Yeah, that's exactly the quote that he told us so many times.
I was like, really? And then you know, whatever I cleaned it up with that day, I mean, it sounded good, and it was the truth.
100%.
And it sounded better.
No.
I mean, when the truth sounds better, so I don't know. So really, at some point, guys, you almost get like this weird taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
You know? So,
and I think
I don't know.
You earned my respect so much more at that time because, again, there's 20 cameras in here all over the place, and they're like, read this line. You're like, yeah, you're on fire. And then we go to this one line. You're like, that's not true, though. Right. They're like, yeah, but just go ahead. You're like, no, I'm not going to read that line. And you were in the zone. That. Like, you were totally in the zone. And you're like, no. And I remember looking at me, you're looking at him, and you're like, no, I'm not doing it. So muchos respect for that. Like, huge respect. Muchos respect for that. That means a lot.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, right?
For sure.
And now you're watching the season, and I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, how cool is it that this happened in our own community?
Pueblo, well, it's cool. I mean, Pueblo definitely needs some good stuff. Look, even in the rift of everything, Ryan Zabukovic did something nice for somebody.
Absolutely.
You know, Matt Smith did something nice for somebody. You know, people were doing, you know, nice things for other people.
For sure.
So I mean, you want to put a dot on a map and say, you know, what about Pueblo? I mean, Pueblo kind of came through.
100%.
You know,
yeah.
Sorry.
I couldn't agree more. No, I mean, I think that this highlighted how beautiful our community is, and it continues to, you know.
how kind our people truly are. Like, cameras or no cameras, like, we're good-hearted citizens. We care about one another. We care about our relationships.
Well, so here, just let me tell you that the only reason that I was doing anything like that anyway, guys, is the relationship that I have with you two, not Lewis Grant or Grant Cardone.
We still call him Lewis. We still don't know what to call him, but yeah.
So, you know.
For sure.
So between me and you, it's our relationship.
Absolutely.
Theirs, so.
And you know, and even one of your podcasts, you were saying the other day that some lady was listening to it and it made her cry because your story is so passionate and so amazing. And it's one of the highlights that we have is being able to tell these kind of stories now through Wake Up, and that's been a mission of ours, is like help grow this community, help tell these amazing stories. And you were saying somebody stopped you in the supermarket and was like, wow.
So they do it more times than you would think.
Yeah.
You know, I'll walk in to eat breakfast someplace and somebody, you know, the owner of the restaurant walked up. She goes, Rory, you had me crying this morning. And I'm like, I had you crying this morning. And she says, yeah, I got a hold of your testimony online. And I'm like, how did you get my testimony online this morning? You know, I want to know, you know, kind of what the steps. She goes, I don't know. It was just there, and I started watching it, and you know, so.
What is the name of your podcast?
Keeping It Real with Rory.
Keeping It Real with Rory. So if you're needing a really inspirational podcast, he catches pigeons. So one day we had a pigeon fly into Wake Up, which I was cursing at. Anyways, and he seriously just grabs a hold of this pigeon. It's off topic. It
flew in the building, and I thought Jenny was going to do backflips, and I had to do something.
That was hilarious. So yeah, follow Rory on Keeping It Real with Rory on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube.
For sure.
Follow Cornerstone Roofing. He does all Southern Colorado, all Colorado for that part.
And you know, we've got an album out. You know,
let's talk about that for a sec.
Yeah, you know, I love to sing. I've always loved to sing. You know, I get to put my testimony into music.
Yeah.
You know, when I started doing the album thing, my producer said, I want you to watch A Star Is Born. And I'm like thinking, yeah, I don't want to watch a stupid chick flick. Sorry. You know, I got 8 daughters. I've watched plenty of them. So, of course, I'm watching this dumb chick flick, right? And so I start crying. Bradley Cooper tells Lady Gaga, right?
Yeah.
Tells her that that there's a story to be told, your story, that only you can tell.
Yep.
And that's what my producer told me about, my story. And I thought, so if I can do that through music, that's what I'd like to do.
Love it.
I like to help people. I go to the prisons and I speak to people that are struggling with drug abuse, alcoholism. I get to tell them that this isn't who you are.
Yeah.
The things that you did are not why they're the things, they're not who you are.
Yeah.
Who you are the decisions that you make today. Who do you want to be? So I get to I get to make a difference. And next week, Wednesday, I'm singing and playing out in Fowler, which is
Nice.
the 28th, and I get to give my testimony and sing a few songs and see if I can help some people. And
So
Beautiful.
Rory is a great Christian man. You've come so far, and where you are now, like you decided to put that into music. And A Sentence to Live is an amazing album. Can you talk to us just a little bit about that and how to get more information on it? Because your music
sure.
is powerful.
Yeah, it's I think back on my life, guys. Sometimes I think that I don't really deserve the life today that I have. I'm happily married to my wife. Have 8 daughters, 14 grandkids. I'm amazingly happy. I struggled with COVID earlier this year. I think I'm still struggling in areas with COVID. Weirdly enough, guys, hopefully, I get rid of that pretty quick.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
But the other journeys that I've taken, like my drug and alcohol. I remember waking up in my truck one morning, and beautiful sunshine day, and been partying for a week, and I had always promised myself that I'd never live past 30. Weirdly enough, I don't know why I chose 30, but I did. I woke up and I looked in the mirror and I thought, well, you're going to be 31 in a couple of days, Rory, a couple of weeks. And I heard these words as clear as day, guys, and it said, and you've been sentenced to live. And, that would probably make somebody happy, right?
Yeah.
I've been sentenced to live. I was angry. I didn't want to live. That's the last thing I wanted to do with all the car wrecks and all the collisions and the pileups in my life. I did not want to live with all the stuff that I'd caused, and I was angry with God that day. So I went to a sister's house later that day. She was having a party. I told her, what I need is your shower. I walked in, this girl threw her arms around me, and she just happens to be my wife today.
It's beautiful.
So through it all, whom I believe was God that day telling me that you've been sentenced to live, actually put somebody in my life more important than me that day. So.
And she's a blessing.
Yeah,
She's
she
a
is.
good woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, such a man of passion. So much. I mean, follow his podcast, because there is a lot out there. And just thanks for all you do for this community. Thanks for all you do for the world. There's so many lives that I think you've changed their complete course of life, and you'll never even know that.
Well, I have realtors. I have a realtor friend. The first time that one of my things came online, it's a couple of years ago. He asked me to lunch one day. And we got to be really, really good friends. But he asked me to lunch one day, and I said, "Yeah, let's go." And so I went and eat lunch. And he goes, "Rory, you don't know much about me." And I said, "No, I don't." And I was on a board or two with him at the time. This has been like 7 or 8 years ago. And he goes, "But I saw your testimony, your testimony on Facebook." And he goes, I want to tell you today that." He goes, "I watched it, and I made a decision that day to quit drinking and drugging. And he's, I don't know, 5 or 6 years clean today."
Wow.
It's like,
Awesome.
I get stuff like that all the time. It's pretty awesome.
That's beautiful.
So,
Yeah.
I always remember God asking me, you know, because, you know, I'm the kind of guy, you know, I want to go speak in front of like crowds, and God said, would you do it for one person? And I said, I would do it for one. So I don't know if I found that one, so I'm going to keep looking.
It's beautiful.
So I'm going to keep talking, and one of these days maybe God will say you found the one. So.
Yeah, and to your testament, how much people that love you, I'll say 2 quick stories and then we can close this down. But one, when you did have COVID, you had how many people came in? Gasparetti, there was like 5 or 6.
Tim,
everybody,
Brother
Tim,
the big people in Pueblo.
They all came in to speak on your behalf for your podcast to talk about how amazing that you are and to pray for you and all of that stuff, which was such a testament. And here's the behind the scenes that you probably don't even know about me and my wife. Is that the only time on camera that we got in a fight ever was in this building right here, because we both wanted to interview you. And that's how much we love you. It was such the only time that we were like, oh, no, and the camera was trying to follow us, and she was like, and I was like, and then we were like trying to be cool, but there's cameras all around us. But that was the only time me and my wife got in a fight in 6 months of being on cameras because of you.
You know, you get to interview people, and I'm like,
and it was like,
Rory's mine. You can interview everybody else, but
funny.
Rory means, you know, he's a dear friend of mine, and I wanted to do
and
it.
I was like, no, I want to do
like this.
So
and
hence why we're both here right now. Now you get us both. You're not stuck with one of us. It's like a marriage. We just compromise, and now we're both here. But anyway, you do some amazing things. So, you know, overall, Undercover Billionaire, Grant Cardone. What do you feel? It's good for Pueblo.
I guess it's good for Pueblo guys. You know, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I think that it opened probably some business opportunities you know, along the way. We'll see how things go.
Perfect.
You know, I like doing all the other stuff that we do together anyway. So, you know, we just did the entrepreneurship for CSU Pueblo.
We did. Just this
that was a blast.
It was a blast.
It was great.
We're partners in a business now.
Yeah, we are.
We are partners in a business.
Why is this the first time I'm hearing about it?
Oh, yeah. So anyway, we bought into this thing.
Story of my life.
That happened last week. So
it'll be a good business.
Anyway, if you haven't followed him, follow him on. He's on everything: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Follow this guy.
Rory
Hear
Huskin,
more how deep this story truly is. And this is one more of episodes of Behind the Scenes with Wake Up Pueblo. You can find us on all of those as well. We're gonna go do something epic right now, so you stay tuned for just a little bit of fun with the amazing Rory Huskin himself. We appreciate you so much. Any closing words?
I just appreciate you and your friendship. You're a good man.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah.
He's a good man.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Follow us.
Wrap.
That's a wrap. Wake up!
Raise the roof. Raise the roof.
I don't know. Rory himself, stay tuned. Raise the roof with Cornerstone Roofing. Rory himself, stay tuned. With Wake Up Pueblo, the behind the scenes with the man, the myth, the legend, when he tells Grant Cardone, no, I will not do that. Or was it Lewis Curtis? I don't know. Anyway, raise the roof.
Raise the roof.
Woo-hoo, raise it, Rory. Come on, baby. Yeah. All right.